Hey, what's going on, YouTube vinyl community? It's your old pal Mikey Bananas from the Grown Man Record Night program, here to jump in on a thread of our good pal Stunt Rock Confusion. Now, Mr. Stunty's come up with some things to talk about in the world of MoFi. No, wait, not MoFi. NoFi. So if you've been living under a rock and didn't know the whole MoFi debacle that happened, go back and watch some of the videos. I'm not going to recount the whole thing here, but nevertheless led Stunty to come up with this idea of find 5 records in your collection that there's no shot that MoFi would ever repress in their pristine pressings that they have done and that they're world renowned for, right? So NoFi, not MoFi, NoFi. So let's start. It's funny, when I was watching Stunty's video, I was already saying, I want to jump in on this thing, right? So I start making my list as he's still doing his video. And the first one that I wrote down is actually the last one he showed in his. And he said, no, by all means, show it. We never shy away from a chance to hype this record. Like, that's a good point. First thing I wrote down was Beck's One Foot in the Grave. The record's falling out. Beck's One Foot in the Grave. This was a 1994 release on K Records, I believe. And stripped down folky Beck, the lowest fi of the lowest fi. And this is a reissue from a couple of years ago that includes an extra disc which has a shit ton of bonus tracks on it. So just like Stunty said, even though the originals are probably $1 bazillion, this is the version you want anyhow, because a lot that stuff's not on anything else. And honestly, if I was really being honest here, the one that really does it for me even more than that, and I only have it on CD because, again, I don't even think there's an unofficial out there. Stereopathetic Soul Manure. That's my favorite Beck, honestly. And it's a nice OG CD. I know this is not a CD thing, but this is like one of the highest things on my want list, actually. But yeah, I like that one a little better, and people know, my friends and family know, that Satan Gave Me a Taco is to be played at my funeral alongside Mozart's Requiem. So I would go with that one. So that's a little aside for that. Moving right along. I don't know if this counts. I don't know if live records counts. Has MoFi ever done live records? I really don't know shit about MoFi. But so I'll stick another one in here just in case the live records don't count. You could have picked any record by these guys, really. The Cramps. This is Mad Daddies, live at the Napa State Hospital. Now, it's not even... If you guys didn't know, in 1978, the Cramps actually went and played a show at a mental institution. There was a few fans that showed up, that kind of tagged along with them. And then there was like a couple of dozen like actual mental patients and then people that worked at the hospital. And they had this performance here. And so the reason I have this record is because of that. Because even by Cramps live record bootleg standards, the audio from this thing is pretty GD horrific. It's awful. But they're playing at a mental institution, so I definitely felt the need to pick this up, and I enjoy listening to it just for the actual vibe. It's the aesthetic of what's going on there at this show makes that what's special. So there's no high fidelity version of this needs to be pressed in order to capture the je ne sais quoi of what's going on there. But because it is a live record, I wasn't sure if that counted, so I'll sneak one. This is also my cheeky way of sneaking one in. I saw Bit Baboon show a little of this, so I thought I'd throw this in too. It recently got sent to me by a pal Noisy Beast. It's Big Black, the model, and the other side is one of the, I can't remember which one. He's a whore. I think the model is actually on Songs About Fucking. This is a cool 7-inch, man. Really cool stuff. I mean, obviously they're taking off on Kraftwerk right there, which is pretty sweet. But killer stuff. Touch and Go Records, obviously. Good stuff. Moving right along, another band that doesn't need to be mentioned in the same breath within 5 miles of Mobile Fidelity is the Butthole Surfers. And especially, for me, especially this EP, Cream Corn, the official title is Cream Corn from the Socket of Davis EP. 1985. Also on Touch and Go, ironically enough. But Jesus, what a just a colostomy bag of a record, in a great way. I mean that very positively. That first song, I'm moving to Florida, whatever. This shit makes me laugh out loud every time I hear it. So they're farting around with noises and soundscapes and being weird and stuff. And you can call it art, it's art, but it's also really, really freaking funny. This is a really funny record. So Butthole Surfers, there's no way they're going to be anywhere near a Mobile Fidelity pressing of anything. Here's one for the heads. I could have pulled... you could pull any black metal record, because the things I'm going to say about black metal apply across the board. But the reason I picked this one, a lot of people say this is kind of the origin, the starting point of black metal in a lot of ways. And also I kind of wanted to flex a little bit. I don't get to do that a whole bunch. But this is an original U.S. pressing on Metal Blade. This was recorded in 1983. These are the Swiss band. And yeah, but I mean, by the very essence of black metal, you're kind of thrown out of the club, so to speak, if you have like really good production. They want that 4-track, super toppy sound, which it took me a long time to come around to that. I got into black metal kind of like kind of a back end, like learning the lore and the stories behind like the scene and how everything kind of came together in the first and the second wave of black metal. It took me longer to actually get into the music, and it's still a sometimes thing. I do really like the atmospheric black metal, where it's like there's a lot of ambient components to it. I really enjoy that stuff nowadays more, but I really do like this record. And Hellhammer's Apocalyptic Raids. And these guys kind of got shit on, like when they came out. Like nobody really thought of them as much of anything. And a couple of the cats went on to join Celtic Frost. And it was only like later on when people started singing the praises about how seminal of a record this was, and like it, this is such a big deal and stuff. But when it came out, all the reviews and the publications and stuff pretty much shit all over this record. And I'll finish it off here with I thought about doing something from Sun, because nothing is the most like, okay, you got to be kidding me. Then imagine MoFi doing a reissue of a record that is predominantly, the scapes of guitar distortion feedback. And that's really what Sun, if you guys don't know, it's kind of a metal drone ambient duo that uses guitar feedback, and it's tuned to like W. It's like just Steve, when I would listen to it at work, Steve would say, it sounds like the mowers are here, because you hear just like coming out of my speakers, and he thought it was the lawnmowers outside. Anyway, but I chose this one because of Stunty. This is Sun's collaboration with Ulver. Now, Ulver is a kind of legendary experimental avant-garde electronica. They had some black metal kind of leanings early on as well. These guys are from Norway, I believe. Some Ouija's. So these Ouija's and Sun get together and make this record. They kind of did it live to tape, so it's kind of, but it's very... I mean, you get the elements of that kind of weird avant-garde electronica chamber. There's a lot of like chamber music kind of vibes to this, but alongside of the deep growling guitar sounds that Sun's putting forward, it makes for a really deep record. It's a heavy record, but heavy is in like feeling like it makes you, it pulls on something, like going to a movie. It kind of pulls you out of stuff. Really killer stuff. Came out in 2012 and on Southern Lord. Uh-oh, I'm seeing something here. We may be in trouble. Huh. 33 RPM for best results. Use hi-fi cartridges only. Oh, shit. Well, we should have picked something else. That's why I picked an extra. But no, this is really cool, but the combination of these two bands is really something special. And honestly, this has nothing to do with this being lo-fi at all, because this is an actual fantastic sounding record. This thing is done really, really nicely. So it's not that this is a lo-fi thing, but just the thought of MoFi investing their time, money, and energy into pressing something that's largely guitar just feedback, shaped into, 20-minute tracks with weird sounds and bleeps and bloops and shit over top of it. That seems pretty counterintuitive for what they're pretty much known for. I appreciate Stunty throwing this out there. This was a cool one. I knew I wanted to jump on this. I've enjoyed seeing the other submissions and stuff. And you could pick 1,000 different things, like any punk rock record in the world or any kind of weird noise record you could throw in there. But it's been fun to see like what came to mind and what you pulled out. So anyway. Well, the point was to finish this video before the edible kicked in, and it's to the nick of time here. Peace.